stream. We'll be starting up here shortly, though, for those of you who are already here. And if my dudes on stream can verify for me that everything is
What are we supposed to verify?
properly. Just that you can hear me, basically.
Oh, you're not streaming.
I'm not streaming.
Yeah, yes. It's up. It's up.
Wait. Now
You
I
have
can
to
hear
click
you.
play.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
All right,
good.
I didn't click play.
Alright. All the audio sounds fine, nothing obnoxious?
No, you're wrong.
Okay. Great.
It's all good.
Then, I suppose we can go ahead and kick this off. Let's send out the little message on Twitter so they know we started, and then we can kick this off. That is the TTM Twitter. That won't work as well.
I'm going to mute. I'm going to mute the. Yeah, I'm getting wheelchaired. Burn saved you from getting embarrassed. I have nothing to switch into a ho-oh.
You're so fucked.
See, with no rocks, with no rock move. Trying to scare him out with this Mr. Mine. I think I'm gonna. I lived. Huh?
There you go. I helped.
Thanks. We drop it in the fan server as well, and then we can get this started here.
Hello.
Oh, is that Sasso?
That is Zazo.
That is Iron.
Oh.
How does it feel to get tossed by me in NPL Season 7 finals?
All right, boys. Let's go ahead and kick this off, shall we?
Yep.
All right. What's going on,
We're ready to
everyone?
go?
Jolts here from the Token Minorities, immediately getting interrupted by my man, David. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We are here with the Season 7 finals of the NPL. This season featuring Rizzy Pow and the Phoenix Sunfloras against the two-time defending champion, Gypsy King and the Sydney Sharpedos. So you can see the matchup here in front of you. We've got a pretty fun matchup here coming up. What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup. I think as far as the matchup is concerned, Gypsy's got one of his toughest challenges ahead of him with Rizzy Powell, coach of this Phoenix and Flora, really kind of on a hot streak towards the end of the regular season, led by that disastrous Kieran Black LaFable core, and also Greninja and Mega Aerodactyl really proving their worth for Riz. I think David's going to talk a little bit about Gypsy.
Am I? I actually really like Gypsy's matchup here, because his team is actually absolutely gross with Lando T, Celesteela, Mega Diancie, and then just all these fat mons like Tang and Suicune and Piloswine, and just a random goth to just sort of add to all the nonsense. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Both
feel like
guys
I feel like offensively Riz's matchup is solid here, especially like the Kieran Black and the Gengar. Those are two Pokemon that Gypsy simply doesn't switch into. He doesn't really have pure switch-ins to them. He has some things that can take like one hit from Gengar or Kieran, but very few of them can take two. So depending on how Riz plays his cards, those are two Pokemon that could definitely put in a lot of work. I could also see like the Mega Aerodactyl or even the Greninja putting in a lot of work against Gypsy too. But we all know how good the Gypsy is with building really good defensive cores and being able to just take hits defensively very, very well. That's easily a strength of his. So yeah, it'll be definitely a very interesting match for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I think Gypsy's actually going to have to really come up with something creative. And I know that sounds really weird saying about Gypsy King, but if I'm just looking at the pure matchup, like you mentioned, Jolt, Kieran Black and Gengar, that combination is not very easy to. I think He's gonna have a really difficult time making a defensive core out of those. So we might see a little bit more offensive game approach from Gypsy. And if Gypsy's playing a bit more offensive, I would put the favor in Riz's court. Considering as one of the best offensive breakers, being Mega Aerodactyl is just so good, especially if you can't afford to your Pokemon. I think Arrow has a really good matchup, especially considering Rock Resist on Gypsy's end are really limited to Suicune.
That's not a Rock Resist, actually.
Are you sure?
This is
sure
why
it
Greg's
takes
in
those well.
minors, guys.
No, I'm pretty
Can you
sure.
tell me the
I'm
best
like
thing to
Greg
switch
on
it to a Stone?
Tangrowth.
It's
Yeah,
actually
that's
not
pretty fair.
bad Stone Edge switching. Yeah.
Yeah, because I too like to put my Tangrowth in front of Mega Aerodactyl.
I think depending on it really comes down to what Riz brings, because there's a lot of combinations of bonds that, like, given a couple turns, Riz could end up in a situation where he can't break Gypsy's team. Like Celesteal and Suicune
Yeah.
are fat, and like even some super effective moves are just gonna bounce off. Like it could
Yeah.
get to the point where like Riz is staring at a +2 Suicune, or like just a Leech Seed protect Celesteal, and he's like, "How do I break this? I ran out of Mons."
And like one other thing to think about from Gypsy's end as well, with Riz's team being primarily offensive and fast, that really leaves the door open for something like Autotomize Celesteela, random Choice Scarf users like Landers, which still hits very hard even with just a Choice Scarf, and even Hydreigon, which hits really hard too. So if Gypsy is able to win the speed control game against Riz, I think that can go a long ways, as that's something that Riz's team really relies on, I think. So
Yeah,
let me
most
uh,
definitely.
random things.
let me see if these guys are about ready to go. I know it's about that time. I see Gypsy on.
So if you guys are here in the Twitch chat, go ahead and tell us, predict the score. Who do you think is going to win this game? The Phoenix Sunfloras or the Sydney Sharpedos? Go ahead and let's take a look and see what you guys are saying in the Twitch chat. I'm excited.
What are the odds of Furfru?
What are the odds of Furfru? The same as Togetic. I think Furfru is less likely than Togetic.
I mean, that's fair, but I think Togetic's actually not a bad Pokemon.
I mean,
I'm
I
a lot of
I too-
Pows, Gypsies. There's a Zazo 3-0. Congrats, Zazo.
yeah, congratulations. And last season, Zazo or season 6 champion. Oh wait a minute.
Oh. Can't. It's too soon.
I've given them the okay to
It's too
start whenever they want to. I see Gypsy online. I don't see Riz. I just see Riz online, so they might be starting up here pretty soon. So I'm pretty excited for this. Are you guys?
It's gonna be
yeah, of
definitely.
course.
If hopefully it's more like Riz's games where they're more back and forth, because Gypsy playoff games have not been the most competitive.
Yeah.
Uzi makes a valiant point. Gypsy won't win. His internet will die.
Oh, interesting. What a bold prediction. Yeah, Gypsy has straight up tossed his first two playoff opponents. I believe he beat Rob. He beat Rob like 3-0, and then Verd was like inhumane. What happened there? But in terms of Riz, I believe his playoff games have been pretty close. In round 1, he knocked off Trev, I believe, with a score of like 1-0 or 2-0. I don't recall exactly what it was.
1-0.
1-0, yeah, and then he played Blake, Moxley, and Fernie in the semifinals, and that game also came down to, I believe, a very low differential, maybe a 1-0 or a 2-0 again. So Riz has kind of squeaked his way through, while Gypsy has been dominant, just like he has been in previous seasons. So I guess we'll see if this will be the year or the season that Gypsy finally gets knocked off from his NPL throne. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, hi, Styx! Shout out to Styx in the chat.
Oh, Aster J, Riz is going to win with what little he has.
Retweets appreciated.
Oh, that's amazing.
Retweets are appreciated.
That's amazing.
This is gonna get wheelchaired, says Keegan Games YT. Okay. Rapid Raven 179. Hello, my good friend. Do you know Purple Raven 24?
For a second, I thought that was Zazo, to be honest.
Illusion says Rizzy Pow is the New York Giants and Gypsy King is the undefeated Patriots. So I think
That's
Illusion
not
is
a good
predicting-
sign this season.
That is definitely not a good sign for
The
the.
Giants aren't doing too hot.
I think he's talking about the 2007 teams. Pretty much like
Flying bird
dominate-
with how many bullet seeds do you need to hit with
Oh
Berlin to
my
win the
god,
championship?
that's something to talk about as well. Riz has Breloom on his draft. Will this be the season that Breloom finally gets his championship? I don't know. It has not had
I
the
thought Breloom
best
had-
luck. I don't think it has in the NPL.
Pretty sure I had a good chance at one point.
Yeah, I kind of recall this as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, it had a pretty good shot at winning.
It was
I don't-
something
I don't know
along the
what
lines
happened.
of like if it hit 3 bullet seeds instead of 2, it would have won the game. You know, but,
No,
we
Joel,
don't talk about
the
that.
average is 3.
But the average
But
is
Joel,
3,
the average
so
is 3.
you know that's just how it goes.
Exactly. Speaking of averages, let's talk about some of the RNG aspects associated with this game. And I know typically I want to bring that up because of last season's NPL Season 6 championship, but we have a lot of Pokemon here that rely on some inaccurate moves like Mega Aerodactyl, Stone Edge. We have Hydreigon's Draco Meteor potentially, Greninja, Hydro Pump potentially from that. So a lot
Fire
of
Blast
a
from
lot of these
Blaziken,
guys,
maybe HJKs, random
Yeah,
Thunderbolt with Thunders, or
yeah,
Fire
Joel was
Blast.
mentioning speed control. Thunder Wave is now not able to hit 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that these coaches could take a look at here. As far as I don't know what I'm talking
oh,
about.
the battle's up.
Is it time?
Battle
It's
is
up.
started. Is it time?
All right, let's kick it on over. Oops.
You know what? I'll be nice and I'll link it in the chat for
There we go.
everybody.
There we
you
go.
go, boys and girls.
Alright.
It's
So
time.
we have at team preview. Gypsy King has decided to bring Celesteela, Landorus Therian, Hydreigon, Suicune, the Gothitelle, and Diancie Mega, while Rizzipow has decided to bring Blaziken, Gengar, Mega Aerodactyl, German Black, Clefable, and Breloom. Ooh, I see Gothitelle. I don't think that's very good for Rizzipow at all.
No.
Well, what kind of goth do you think this is?
I can see something like a fatter goth to sort of trap the Clefable.
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
I think, especially because, if you take a look at Riz's team, his Hydreigon switch-ins are pretty much essentially only that Clefable. So you can see a little bit of U-turn action into Gothitelle to try to trap and eliminate kind of something. And as far as getting rid of Gothitelle on Mega Aerodactyl, and I don't think that's a move Riz is willing to run in this particular game, especially with mons like Suicune. The Tangrel didn't show up, which is nice. That's that Stone Edge switching you were talking about, David, on.
Yeah, the Stone Edge switching is gone. There is no drill though, so Gypsy called it right to not bring the Tangrowth.
Yeah, definitely. Probably because Lando T is there, and that's just such a difficult Pokemon for Excadrill to take out.
Well, no, it's
giving
a
free switches,
combination.
so,
It's definitely a combination of Celesteela, Lando T,
Celesteela,
and Suicune.
Lando,
Yeah,
Like,
that's
this,
what-
this might be
Oh,
the
yeah,
worst
like-
matchup for Excadrill I've ever seen, if I'm being honest. It's so bad.
You're talking about they all drop to specs HPIs.
Oh, you're right.
And
No,
coupled with
they all
Grass
get paralyzed to Secret Power Jolt.
Yes, 100%.
Low key, this was a set that we were talking about before this game.
No, this was the set Riz was talking about. This is not a don't.
I
lump
mean,
the rest of
we
us
we
into
were
this.
talking about it. Talking is a two-way thing.
Hey, I don't know either of these guys' teams, so I'm in here blind.
Yeah, I know.
You know Riz's team? Oh, that's interesting. Let's see. I love
yeah.
to see what Gypsy has
I'm-
planned for that Gengar because
I
this
have
does not
access
look-
to Riz's team. I actually haven't seen it,
Yeah.
but I
I
have
think I
access,
have access
to it.
to.
I don't know
I think I
Gypsy's
do
team.
too.
I know a
I
lot
just-
about
I'm not
Riz's
gonna
team.
look at
Not
it.
going to go into details on it for the sake of privacy,
Right.
but it does really appear from preview that Riz's offense is based around a dual fighting core, the Blaziken and the Breloom, which, because Gypsy decided to bring the Gothitelle, might actually give him a really hard time. So I know you guys were already talking about the Gothitelle earlier, but if we saw something like maybe a speedy Gothitelle or something, that could really give that core a hard time. As I think, Gothitelle's like base 65 speed, correct?
Base 60.
Base 60, so it would need a
So,
choice scarf to
it-
outpace Breloom and Blaziken.
Yeah,
So that's something to
adamant-
think about.
That's Breloom and Timid Goth though. That's gonna outspeed
That's true, yeah.
potentially. So think when Gypsy's brought Gothitelle, it's been like a really fat Gothitelle with like calm mind, rest, kind of just like I'm going to take the wind out of your team and momentum type of Gothitelle. I think we saw that against Aster when he brought the Gothitelle. We saw, I can't remember very many Gothitelle moments because he didn't bring it a whole ton, but every time it came, I do remember it having leftovers, it being really, really fat, and also with rest. So I think if Riz has done his homework, he'll maybe see that coming, but Gypsy also brought Z Superpower.
Right.
So banking on predicting that team is kind of not ideal.
So do you think either of the Z captains have a Z move on them?
You always kind of have to expect a Lando to have one, right? But I don't know if it really needs it in this matchup, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it needs it. That's the thing. Like, I could see like a bulkier set just to sort of deal with drills and letting Celesteela be offensive autonomize or something. Or maybe it's the other way around. And
I could honestly
offensive.
even see like the Lando and the Celesteela having speed boosting moves, like Rock Polish on Lando and Autonomize on Celesteela. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, Rock Polish with like Continental Crush looks actually really, really nice against this particular team.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what he'll bring, especially if he can use the Gothitelle to trap the Clefable and find ways to weaken that Breloom. Even then, I don't think Breloom does a whole lot. Or let's like Rock Polish Fly, Sab.
What actually might be a little better yet than Continental Crush would be Z Irontail on the Landers, because if you look at the Aerodactyl, Clefable, and the Kieran Black, those all don't appreciate the steel coverage, and Lando would be able to hit everything else at least neutrally, or probably a lot harder.
Sure.
So I could see Z Irontail with Rock Polish being a very scary Lander set that Gypsy could bring here.
Yeah, going off of that, with between like Earthquake, Acrobatics, and like a Steel type move, Autotomized Celesteela is really threatening in this game. I think someone else mentioned it already, but if you just look at Riz's team, Flying plus Steel type coverage just runs through him, especially when like the Pokemon that aren't hit super effectively by that include Pokemon like Gengar, which is very frail. But we do see the lead matchup. It is going to be the Hydreigon versus the Gengar.
And all right.
So the lead Hydreigon kind of screams Choice Scarf to me, personally.
Yeah, leads tend to scream Scarf or like Sash. So like maybe that's what we're seeing.
This could easily be a Sashed Gengar based upon the lead here. I wouldn't really expect a Scarfed Gengar to lead, given what this matchup is. Gypsy has so much bulk that isn't O-code by Gengar. It just doesn't make much sense to lead it if it is Scarfed. That's more of like a late game revenge killer, I think, in this game. But I could see a Sashed Gengar very possibly here, which makes Gypsy probably not want to risk that, as Gengar does get Dazzling Gleam. So very likely to see a U-turn from Gypsy here. But what Riz is going to do is the question. I'm not really sure what he'll go for here.
Yeah, if Riz is Focus Sash, like you're mentioning, there's a couple of things he could do. Like, there's the Dazzling Gleam play. He can make an aggressive play, just go for like a Focus Blast, which I don't think would be ideal in this case. He could also choose to add a type move, like a Will-O-Wisp.
I think
anticipating like maybe a Celesteela to come in.
Do you even want to pop your Sash then if you're expecting Gypsy to U-turn?
I don't know. It comes down to if he thinks he can keep rocks off
I guess
the
at the
field.
same time, like, what do you have to go into to sort of prevent the Diancie / Landorus from setting up rocks?
Right, yeah. There's a chance this could be maybe sashed with Energy Ball, and that would do a decent amount to the incoming Diancie. I don't really see Gypsy trying to go Diancie here, though, because that's a speed tie at best with the Gengar, assuming this is max speed Gengar. I feel like Celesteela is probably the safest switch into Gengar off the U-turn. That makes the most sense, but then again, it comes down to what kind of Celesteela that is.
Well, we are seeing the U-turn. U-turn is now disabled. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. I think Gypsy was really planning on having U-turn on the following turn.
Along with the turn 1 crit.
The restart memes are already going.
The restart memes are going. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that wasn't a pulse on a Sash Gengar, or else that would have been really disastrous.
That actually would have been really unfortunate. Yeah, but just Gypsy being very safe, not risking a Pokemon that can, revenge like a Scarf Kieran Black, revenge like +1 Blaziken, It was really just a pretty predictable. I don't want to say predictable, but it was really his best play to get this Scarf Hydreigon out, considering how strong it is without a boosting item and being a late game. It's really nice. Riz is like, can I ignore specs? Of course you can.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Also, guys, if we're all moderators on Battle Area, if you are not, Riz can still see you if you're muted. So try to be respectful, Riz, if you have the power to speak off of a
Ooh, the
mod
sub
chat.
comes
And-
out.
Ooh, sub Hydra.
Ooh.
So that is definitely not focus sashed. That's interesting.
No, that's kind of interesting. That's
Now,
cool.
what are the odds that this is a Roar Suicune?
Kind of likely.
I'd say it's
I don't
a
know.
strong possibility with the Clefable. It just depends on what Gypsy planned to use as his Calm Mind Clefable check, which might just be the Steela, but this could easily also have Roar to help with that, I think.
I feel like if it was Roar, he would want to like stack. No, I don't know.
Not
Are there really
necessarily.
a ton of setup threats that like Suicune can just roar away? I guess Home
It's really
Claw's
just
Arrow, Home
Yeah,
Claw's
Home Claw's
Kyurem.
Arrow is another big one, yeah. I could definitely see that. We know Gypsy loves to bring the Vincoon, that classic Smogon special with what's a Sub Protect, Calm Mind, and Scald, I believe is what it is. Sometimes it has Toxic. Yeah, that's a set Gypsy has brought a lot this season. I wouldn't be surprised to see that again here, but yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Roar as being a very likely possibility here. But with Gypsy going hard into the Suicune, that could also mean it's more especially defensive as well. So this might be interesting here. But on Riz's end, I definitely would expect to see a Thunderbolt or a Shadow Ball if he has it. And the Thunderbolt is over half.
That does a lot. That's damage.
That is
And
definitely
Gypsy
not
is
what I
not in a
anticipated.
safe spot right now.
Is that modest damage? That might be modest. That's a lot.
Yeah, it could
More
than I
could that
anticipated,
be like
especially because
could that be like Belt?
It might be even modest belt. That is so much damage. Surely he'd be at least timid
Yeah,
to speak
it really-
Diancie though. Maybe that was high roll
High
timid
roll.
expert belt. Yeah, look that up. Someone who's not on stream.
I am currently looking
right
that
about
up.
now. Are
Yeah, that looks like Timid E-Belt
Okay.
on a max HP Suicune.
Okay. Was that a high roll?
Timid E-Belt does 52 to 61.8.
So that could still be
Yeah.
modest.
It could just be flat modest, I guess. Let me check. No, it
Yeah,
can't
but I
be.
think Timid
just
E-Belt
it
makes
can't
a-
be no item modest. Could it be? And I feel like that's kind of low for E-Belt modest.
So on Riz's side here, one
Oh,
play he
that would
could
be low.
make. One play he could make is to sub again because Gypsy might either protect to potentially get himself outside of range of another Thunderbolt, or he might pull a hard switch into a Scarf Hydreigon, which is definitely something I could see here. It's a little risky, I think, as Riz very well could just have the Dazzling Gleam and go for it here, since he can't be knocked out by Suicune from this range. But that is a play I could see Gypsy making.
Even something like Icy Wind would be really cute here.
I don't know if I agree with Icy Wind as much, because then I don't know, after the protect, I don't know.
I mean, even if the Suicune's either switching out or protecting, right?
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah.
And like if it's switching out, you Icy Wind the Hydreigon. If it's Scarfed, you Icy Wind whatever wants to come in, basically. So, I think it's a.
Do you
It's
think
a
he
play.
has Icy Wind? He might actually for the landers. That would make
He
a lot
might.
of sense. He could also
Being
be
sub-
taunt
behind a-
potentially.
Behind a sub, you just Icy Wind the Scarf, whatever. Well, we know it's a Scarf Hydreigon, or we have to at least assume it's a Scarf Hydreigon, not
Right.
just a slow Gengar.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, he very well could be like Icy Wind, T-Bolt, Shadow Ball for his coverage. That would hit everything that Gypsy brought here. And thinking about the stuff that's on the bench, I think that would hit everything decently hard. Although the Dazzling Gleam does make a lot of sense for the Alolan Persian and for the Hydreigon, so that might very well be one of his
Yeah.
options as well.
Mm.
Yeah, like what Illusion is saying in the chat right now, Gypsy can't really afford to let Gengar be behind a sub. But he has to consider the fact that that might require him to sack Suicune versus a potential Home Claws at Mega Aerodactyl versus Even the Kieran Black potentially that might be. I guess it's not great against Kieran Black, but against the Blaziken more specifically, that would be.
Yeah, definitely losing his primary fire resist is going to be really hurt.
Yeah.
And if Hydreigon does win condition, like you mentioned, it's going to be really like one of his potential win conditions. We don't know exactly what his team composition is, but judging by the fact that it's Scarf, it leads me to believe that only one of Lando T, Celesteela are going to be like a speed boosting offensive set. At least that would that's a fair assumption to make, I feel, at this point, once we've seen Scarf Hydreigon. But this Gengar is posing to be a real issue, especially now that we found out it can 2-hit KO Suicune. Formless Odin is going to be saying goodbye pretty soon, I believe. I think it's probably in Gypsy's best interest to just sack this immediately.
I think Riz goes for sub here.
A little bit aggressive.
I really do. I really do think Riz goes for sub.
Yeah, and then in that case,
I
if
mean,
he subs
I feel
up-
like if he subs, then he has the potential of losing like his sub to the Scald.
That's true,
Like-
but it covers all potential switch outs, and the Suicune
Well, yeah,
would
for
still
sure.
be in range of another Thunderbolt, presumably.
Just devil's advocate, just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Just saying.
I would sub here personally.
Yeah, and plus I don't think health on this Gengar is entirely necessary, bar like living one hit from the Suicune, and then like if the Suicune's staying in anyway, well, I mean you're gonna kill it on the following turn, or potentially be able to kill it on the following turn. If Gypsy's adamant about staying in, he's probably sacking it to you. So there's something that to consider right there.
Who's just making a very valid point. If Suicune just drops, then like Kyurem's a threat if it's like a Scarf set or something.
Well,
'Cause it
while
just
that's
goes- it
true,
just locks into Ice
what
mode.
does Suicune do to Kyurem? Like, nothing.
I mean,
Especially if
it
Kyurem...
prevents it from if it's like a Scarf set, it stops Ice Beam.
I mean, kind of, yeah. Stops is kind of a... I don't know.
Not doing a very good job of that at 47% though.
It's
True.
doing its best. It's doing its best.
It is true, but if Riz manages to get up Stealth Rock with either Clefable or Mega Aerodactyl, then it's going to come in
yeah.
at 35, and then it's going to take a nice beam, and it's probably going to do, I think, 2-hit KOs from 35 if it gets to that point. From like a Scarf specially invested Kieran Black, which goes back into the point. If Gypsy does switch out into the Hydreigon, anticipating the Thunderbolt, yeah. So Riz does decide to go for the substitute.
And we do pop the sub. Yep. All right.
Is committed.
And Gypsy might be out of range if it is a timid Gengar, or he would have to high roll again.
Right.
Yeah, definitely would have to high roll at that range.
I'm more leaning towards Riz being modest, actually, if that was his play. Just like thinking long term on that. Like it's a guaranteed knockout from this range, I assume, if he's modest E-Belt. But obviously not guaranteed if
Does
timid,
Riz
so.
even need to? Does Riz need to be timid for anything?
It'd be Diancie. It would just be to speed tie Diancie.
Aside from Diancie and a timid Hydreigon would outspeed a modest Gengar? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, let's think from Gypsy's perspective. Does Gypsy need to be a timid Hydreigon?
I mean, if Riz is expecting Scarf Hydreigon, then no. If he prepped assuming Scarf Hydreigon, then he wouldn't really have to be modest if he doesn't want to risk a speed tie with the Diancie. Because he's not outspeeding the Persian. He modest outspeeds Lando, and that's the next biggest threat. So
To answer the question in the chat, 52 was a high roll from timid.
yeah, 52 was the lowest roll from timid.
No,
timid
52
T-Bolt.
is a high roll from timid. Oh, I see.
What are we talking about? Thunderbolts?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Regardless,
I was
Riz is
thinking
able
T-Bolt.
to knock
Yeah.
out the Suicune with a Thunderbolt, which was the play that Gypsy had to make. And now Gypsy realizes, I think, that this is probably a modest Gengar after that roll. But maybe he's just banking on that fact, knowing that this can probably take any one hit.
Yeah.
And
now the
And that
pressure
roll
is
doesn't really
on.
say anything. The 53 doesn't say much.
No, it really doesn't.
If it's
Yeah,
E-Belt.
you really can't get.
If it's E-Belt, yeah, you don't. It could still be timid E-Belt for whatever reason. It could be modest. So at worst, this is a speed tie. I don't know.
Do the rolls?
Yeah, I'm
like,
not too sure
leave-
either. But
Go ahead.
What?
Go
oh,
ahead.
I was going to say, we do see Power Gem from Gypsy, so that's actually one really nice threat eliminated for the Gothitelle, and which I think Riz is probably okay with. That sacking Gengar, not sure how I feel about that. Coming in on a whole lot for the rest of the game. So Diancie is now in. What is Riz's response to Mega Diancie? It is the Mega Aerodactyl is
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a pretty good response. I don't know.
Here's a question: does Mega Aerodactyl knock this thing out with Earthquake?
Ooh, that could be an interesting thing. Definitely an adamant one. I think has a good idea, but something to maybe potentially consider would be an Aqua Tail. Potentially, if like Lando T wants to switch in on the Mega Arrow, Aqua Tail will KO Mega Diancie. I don't think that's a consideration. And what does Gypsy have on his team that could maybe say let's have Earthquake?
He has a Quillfish.
Because I think he's got.
Yeah, he does have a cool fish.
Aside
Aside from that, not much. Yeah, it would just be this or Quillfish that would want to take Earthquakes, I guess.
I do think Aquatail makes a lot of sense because he also has a Piloswine potentially. So I would
Piloswine,
not be surprised.
Diancie, Landorus. Yeah,
What if-
Aquatail makes a lot of
What
sense.
if Gypsy made the play in going hard Hydreigon here on the Aquatail? Would he make that play? I don't think so. I think that's too much.
it covers Earthquake and it covers Aquatail,
But
and
it
doesn't care if it's.
It doesn't knock out Aerodactyl back though, does it?
I don't
So
think
all he
so.
really gains is a U-turn.
Unless he's Head Smash.
Would that even kill?
from an invested
It depends. It depends. It
Yeah.
really depends.
Would
There's a lot of
Head
factors
Smash is
going
not-
into that one.
He actually could be physical
It's a
Hydreigon,
very-
actually.
It depends how much that crit did to Gengar. No,
Yo,
that crit did 10% with a crit. Yeah, okay.
Yo,
Uh,
late
that's
game
probably-
Scarf Iron Tail, Clefable, Kyurem Black, and Mega Arrow.
Scarf Iron Tail. Iron Tail is a pretty good idea.
One of the most reliable moves in the game. I don't think it's a serious win con that Gypsy would consider, but if it did happen, well, National Meme League, am I right? Poke Meme League.
Pokememe League.
We get that in the Twitch chat. Hashtag Pokememe.
Oh,
League.
we do make the Hydreigon play
Oh my-
as we
Riz.
Stone Edge like a champion.
Oh my gosh.
To be fair, we don't know if that was a prediction or if that's just his best move to hit the Diancie. Let's
Right.
be real here.
We
Like,
don't, but like Aquatail makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
Because Stonehenge would catch the Celesteela,
that
would
was
catch the Lando.
this was Riz.
It would
This
catch
was
the
Riz making his
Hydreigon.
best Cheese Boy 628 impression.
Nah, I don't think there was anything wrong with that play.
No, there's nothing wrong with
It's
it.
a very.
It's just one of those things
Yeah,
that
I don't-
catches
definitely
Gypsy because he doesn't
not
expect
wrong
it.
Doesn't expect a move, a stab move with no resistances to just crit.
Exactly.
I mean, that's also fine, but Aquatail made a
His
lot
rock
of sense
resist
there,
is
I'm
dead.
just
I don't know
saying.
if you saw it, but the Suicune's gone.
What
There
resist?
is no rock resist.
That is definitely an adamant Mega Aerodactyl. Ooh, actually, no, that looks jolly. I take that back.
Oh,
Yeah,
Moxie
that's definitely
Infernape.
Now,
Moxie Infernape making a very valid point. Gypsy is 0-1 against Phoenix this season.
what if Gypsy loses this game? He's 0-2
He would be
against
0-2
the
to Phoenix
teams. Oh my gosh, that'd be a meme.
But which Phoenix team would be the best?
Well, definitely Riz this season, correct? Riz beat Cheese, so.
I
But
don't know.
Riz
Let's
also
take.
said
But
that
Cheese had the
Phoenix
better
Sun-
record, so
Sun
I don't
Current were the
know.
best.
Yeah, but memes aside, this is a really strong positioning for Riz, considering that the Hydreigon really likely has nothing to hit this Mega Aerodactyl with. And if this goes down, I don't know what he has left to offensively check, like Mega Aero Bar. Like, I guess Celesteela takes one hit, and then at that point, like, if it autotomizes, that could be game. So I don't think Gypsy's in as bad of a position if that's autotomized Celesteela and he gets the damage off on Mega Arrow. Or uses this Mega Arrow as setup fodder. I saying this? He's Z Celis. No, he's Z Lando.
Z-Lando,
He's
yeah.
Z-Lando.
For sure.
Another thing that
Yeah.
Riz needs to be thinking about now is getting the stealth rocks up, because with this being, I believe, a confirmed Scarf Hydreigon, he will want to be getting the chip damage on this, because I don't think Gypsy's going to let this thing take any more damage. So if Riz wants to kill this thing...
Can't afford to.
Yeah, he can't afford to at all. So if Riz wants to be able to knock this thing out, he wants to get the rocks up here. Unless Gypsy just goes for an attack to weaken Aerodactyl into range of his own rocks. That's something he could do as well. As this
think
is
that would be
definitely a big threat.
Oh yeah, but yeah, he does. Riz does make the
Clefable
switch.
comes in,
Switch.
flash
Oh, he
cannon.
goes into a flash cannon. That's where that
That's-
steel weakness really
Yeah,
coming
that-
into
there we
bite
go.
Riz.
We were saying Iron Tail, but clearly we forgot that it gets a special move.
Yeah, clearly.
But
look who's
that
the
did a
one
lot of
commentator.
damage to that Clefable.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that play.
That doesn't look like a very defensive Clefable, considering
No,
we
that
know
Well,
it's
if it's just Fizdef, like Flash Cannon's going to do a lot to it anyway, so it just means he doesn't have much Spidef investment.
that did 60, and we're under the impression that this is a Scarf Hydreigon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
max HP shouldn't take 60.
Are you sure?
I don't think so.
What if it's
I'm
modest?
pretty
What if
sure.
it's modest Scarf Hydreigon? Does that outspeed
Let me-
Mega Aerodactyl?
Yeah, but
It should,
that
yeah.
doesn't make sense to run like a modest scarf, because if he's modest scarf Hydreigon, you're anticipating that to outpace adamant scarf Lando T. And adamant
No,
scarf
oh yeah,
Lando T
you're,
doesn't even
you're
outspeed
creeping on.
Mega Aerodactyl.
That's true. Okay.
So I definitely
You
believe
also-
that's a timid Hydreigon.
Modest Scarf Hydreigon also didn't outspeed Scarf or +1 Kyurem either.
Okay.
Yeah, which would be
That's
you
a
would have
bigger
to
one.
be that in order to outpace a scarf Lando T. If he is going to be that way, you might as well. You may
Yeah,
choose to forfeit that.
max HP takes 55 max from a timid Flash Cannon.
So this
So-
very well might be that offensive Clefable that Riz likes bringing so much. Maybe more expecting the Tangrowth to come. This could be something that really would abuse Tangrowth. As Tangrowth would be a likely switch into the Braylon. So I could see that thought process. That's probably what this is more offensive, which means this very likely could be Life Orb Clefable. Riz has brought that a lot this season.
Yeah. Could be a Life Orb or a Focus Sash
Yeah.
Clefable as a sort of last-ditch effort for something.
Yeah, the Mana versus Mana 2, he did bring a Fizz Dev Life Orb set. In comes the Flash
in
Cannon,
comes
so
Ooh,
Blaziken.
that's rough. This Pedeftroff is a little annoying,
But
depending on...
with
Yes.
the Suicune gone, there are no fire resist. I guess Mega Diancie, which is at full, correct?
Mega Diancie's
Okay.
a pretty good...
That's a pretty good fire resist. I retract that statement, but regardless,
Yeah.
this does get a big hit off.
You're looking at the fire resist, Joel. There's a Hydreigon in
That
front of
will
you.
die.
I don't know if you know this, or
That-
if you need a type chart.
That will die. And I went to the school of
Give me a
Zazo. I
good-
know my typings.
yeah,
Do you, though?
definitely. Yeah, there's no
You're
bug
right.
types on the field, David.
Oh, true. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we're not talking about psychic types.
Yeah, but I think that's a really nice switch on Riz, and I don't think he lost a lot of momentum by going into this Blaziken. It only took 20%, and this is a choice
Yeah,
left
it's not
Hydreigon. So Riz just
Not a
gets
huge
no
deal.
drawback plays, and this is kind of what I think Riz was anticipating with his game prep and with his. That's why I was talking about that offensive pressure that Riz provides. Matching up well against Gypsy's typically fat builds is that Riz hasn't really needed to predict at all, because he's just got to click a move that has no resistance on the opposite side of the field. So
And
This is-
you say it didn't cost him anything, but I don't know if you saw the Clefable's HP, but that was a hefty chunk. It cost him basically his Clefable.
yeah, but what is Clefable checking in this game? It's checking Hydreigon.
Oh, we see the double
So-
into Kyurem.
Ooh. He gets the
Ooh.
read. Predicting, I guess, the Lando.
This
Yeah,
is
now
actually
Gypsy,
really big.
now Riz clicks Ice.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Riz just clicks Ice Type.
I
right
love
here.
that play from Riz. That the switching into Kyurem gets
it's
a
really
lot
nice.
more of an offensive advantage than Blaziken did.
Yeah, and not only that, but he does get to keep the hidden. Gypsy doesn't have any information on that, considering Hydreigon is scarfed. Well, I guess it's pretty safe on that end.
So on
what
Gypsy's
happens?
in, does he have to go into Steela and then pivot? Is that his play, or does he go hard Goth? Could Goth potentially be designed to trap a Kyurem? Is that possible?
Goth doesn't get a fighting move or a steel move, to my knowledge.
So does he get like?
It does get
power.
gets low kick.
Goth gets low kick.
Thank you.
Just kidding. I have no idea if it actually. It's better than it's like that Mega Metatron coverage.
I was gonna say what?
Goth gets low kick.
This is a free
I'm gonna look at
free
it.
dragon
Fighting.
tail.
It gets power up punch and brick break, and low sweep. It gets low sweep, not low kick. Tell.
What was that, Zaza?
I said this is a free dragon tail if I've ever seen one.
Oh
It's a
my.
free dragon tail. Well, thankfully, because you're not out here, it'll land.
It's a free dragon tail. Yeah, because Mega Diancie would be wild to switch in. So I think
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think there's any reason to just not click the ice type move.
I really don't think.
No, there's no.
Don't click that.
It's literally free. You go for it here. The question is, what is Gypsy going to do? He doesn't have a switch in. Mega Diancie
yeah,
would
aside-
probably make the most sense, but that risks Riz being Roselli, or I guess Chardy, depending on whatever move Gypsy would go for. Otherwise, though, like you can go Celesteela, but cast the Fusion Bolt on the next turn. You go Gothitelle, which I think is potentially Gypsy's win condition based upon the team that Riz has with the dual fighting core. I maybe not a win condition, but definitely something that's very important for him to be able to win the game. So I don't think he goes into Gothitelle. I think the play is Diancie here personally, but I don't know what his set is either.
I don't know. I still think if Celesteela can just get in on, like, for example, Mega Aerodactyl, autotomize up, that Fable's already low. Breloom's Mach Punch, as long as he stays out of range of that.
The problem is he has to force out this Kyurem, so something has to die.
Yeah. Or take a big hit.
Or take a hit, right.
Diancie
Yeah,
is the
so,
most
like-
offensive switch in here, I think. There's always a chance this could be Yachi Lando, but I don't think that survives a hit from Kyurem. I'm not sure, but Max HP might.
Scarflando could be a thing.
Yeah, but that won't kill Kyurem.
Right, but it lowers it.
It does.
And you get to find out if it's a Scarf Kyurem or not.
If you're Scarf Lando,
I
do you
don't
risk
know.
it being Scarf Kyurem? I'm not sure.
I mean, do you really have much of do you have a lot of options here?
If this is Scarf Kyurem or Scarfed Lando, actually, I don't see it being as useful as the rest of his teammates right now. So that might be something he could sack if this is Scarfed.
I could see that.
But this very possibly is Gypsy's Stealth Rocker too. Mega Diancie could be as well, but I believe he had a decent opportunity earlier to go for it and he didn't. So I'm not sure.
Not particularly. No, because he power gemmed the what's
Yeah, he
his
chose the
face?
power gem. The
He
Gengar.
power gemmed the Gengar that would have OHKO'd it,
Hmm.
and then he had to switch out in the arrow.
Okay, I guess
So
you
we
are
don't
right
know
on that.
who's
So
the
we
rocker
don't-
just yet.
We don't know. That's true. Riz's removal though? Riz's removal is Excadrill and Aerodactyl.
And
right?
Defog
Mega
Arrow.
So that tells me that it's almost certainly the Lando. Because Lando can beat both of them. Mega Diancie does not.
Yeah, I think. I don't think Gypsy gets rocks up. I don't think he can't. Wait for him left to set up rocks on Bar Blaziken. Well, there's that. I guess potentially. Wisp. Gypsy's thinking long and hard about this particular turn, and I think it's a really important turn.
Oh, absolutely. He has to
Taking
pick.
this ice.
He has to pick something for this Kyurem, and I'm looking long and hard at Gypsy's 5 mons, and I don't see many things for a Kyurem.
I mean, I see
At least
offensive
not this
checks
turn.
to it. Yeah, not this
Well,
turn.
yeah, I see. Yeah, I don't see anything that feels like coming in right now. Everybody's waiting for something to drop, but nobody wants to drop.
Yeah. mean, there's a lot of Pokemon that are important on Gypsy's side of the field. Um, the, there's a Celesteela that everyone's saying is potentially a late game win con. The Lando
Honestly, I'd
T is
just stay in
probably his
attack.
source of entry hazards.
I would stay in attack. I don't see any reason not to. Like, I don't see a better sack. Because, like, Lando seems like the most expendable, aside from, like, checking Blaziken.
Those responses to Mega Aerodactyl are becoming less and less, though, if he lets this go.
Sure,
it
but, like,
becomes pretty
if it's
much
Aqua Tail or
exclusively-
Ice... If it's Aqua Tail or Ice Fang, it's not a check anyway.
Well, if it's like Fizz Def, I'm sure it can take one hit.
Edge plus Aqua Tail? I don't know.
No, definitely not both.
Yeah, so, like... It's not exactly a check unless he's
That
full.
means that means
Like, Celesteela can do that then. Or maybe something like a Trick Room Goth.
Ooh, that could be really good here.
Just-
In that case, all Gypsy really needs to do is weaken the Kyurem. He decides to...
He sacks the Hydreigon. Okay. He feels like he needs the Lando for the Blaziken then, not knowing what kind of Blaziken it is just yet.
I can understand that.
And maybe he feels like he can get rocks up in a bit.
Yeah, on said Blaziken, on a
maybe.
potential Breloom.
That's sort of what I'm reading from that, because I feel like the Hydreigon wasn't a bad option to keep. Unless it just can't touch. No, it has Flash Cannon. Flash Cannon did so much this. I don't know. I guess
Flash Cannon can
well, he obviously is valuing his Lando, so it's probably some sort of win condition. Probably a Rock Polish set.
So potentially Gypsy could just check this with the Diancie now. But again, that comes back to the fact that Riz very well could have a Resist Berry on this. And he has run a lot of Resist Berries on his Kyurem this season, so
yeah,
I would
but
not
which
be
one is
surprised
it?
to see that. Yeah, I don't know
Is
which
it
one.
Chardy or Zelly?
I would say it's probably Chardy because that would double as a response to like maybe a guaranteed check to Lando potentially, and I mean not guaranteed, but you know, assuming no superpower, it would be a nice switch into Stone Edge or a nice response to Stone Edge.
So does he risk it being Scarf and being an Ice Beam?
Yeah,
because now we just have a new problem. Like, it's either Scarfed Ice Beam and like Diancie takes 1,000,000, or it's not Scarfed and Celesteela can take a Fusion Bolt. So like Gypsy has more choices to make, and all those mons that were waiting for something to drop to come in. Well, Gypsy has his pick now.
He's definitely playing this Celesteela as if it's Autotomize, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think they both might be set up sweepers like we were talking about before.
You think maybe Agility Blaziken? Like, what kind of Blaziken do we think it is?
The Blaziken?
Yeah.
We don't know if it's...
we don't know anything about it.
I don't think there's any particular Blaziken that could be... I don't think we have enough information to make a determination on what type of Blaziken that is. I don't think it's Scarf Blaziken. I don't think
it's Scarf. And
so there's that.
I mean, it could be. You'd think it would. I don't know.
No,
it wouldn't have revealed Baton Pass anyway. So like, because it had this Pedef drop and the attack drop. So if it was Scarf like Baton Pass, it couldn't be. I agree that it probably isn't. But as far as like options for Scarfers, since it wasn't Gengar, that means it's Blaziken, Kyurem, Breloom, or he's running no Scarfer and banking on Arrow. I don't know. I think Agility is likely. Depending on how much... Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking with the speed that you have with Riz, I think you can get away with no Scarfer. Especially because Gypsy really doesn't run a ton of Scarflanders itself, considering that he relies on Lando and Diancie a lot for Stealth Rock. So I think sack the Clefable. Don't think it's necessary for the rest of the game.
No, Clef doesn't do anything.
No, Clef doesn't do anything, and there's no fairy resist on Riz's team right now because the
The
Gengar's
issue
dropped.
is, one thing though Riz has to think about is this could easily be sub Mega Diancie, which is exactly what
be.
made Verd get in such a horrible position in the semifinals. So Riz does need to think about that.
And Kyurem should just flat out live a Moonblast. I think it's fat enough that it can. A timid Moonblast?
I don't know.
Look,
this is a Mega Diane.
I was gonna say.
I'm aware of what it is. Like,
Are
but
you?
Kyurem's
Kyurem's fat, yeah, but Mega
mean,
Diancie takes no prisoners.
super fat.
I mean, max
Alright.
HP Kyurem Black with a timid nature
Let me
has a
let
good
me see.
chance to live.
All right, Calker, let's go.
But if this
I mean,
is a
It needs if
A
it has
non-
like any type of SPDEF investment, which it doesn't need a lot of speed investment. Doesn't. If it really doesn't
I
want
disagree.
to. So, like,
I
I
think
think it wants
if this
speed
is
for
a
Lando.
Scarf Kyurem, it's gonna have like a lot of speed. I don't think Riz can afford it. Yeah, this is like an 80% chance to drop to the Moonblast. Thinking, the Diamond Storm actually it's probably not living that.
So at this
I mean,
point,
it
it'd
is
be a
living
good
that. It's
time
living-
to start thinking about, will this be the longest finals match of all time? How long was Zazo against Gypsy last season? Do we know? Not in terms of turns, but in terms of hours.
a long time.
Something about
I
Gypsy
wanna,
in the
like-
finals.
I want to gouge out my eyes every time we're in a game. Like, there's way too much time spent just like staring at like waiting for players.
Yeah,
This is why the timer was invented,
Definitely.
but it's the finals. We don't want to rush them too much. But if it gets obviously
Astra's
to,
saying
like,
it was
over
about an hour 10.
An hour 10. All right.
hour and
well.
10 minutes.
So we
Thank
know
you,
when we
Master
started.
J.
We started at about 45 minutes ago. So
TTM
we might just
TTM
break
Bird is saying my dream final is Razor versus Cheese Boy. Yes,
That would-
I too like half a day finals.
that. I mean, cheese against Gypsy is about
Aster out here calling me an idiot because I think Kyurem Black is fatter than it is. That's respectable. I understand. I probably am an idiot.
the same.
Yeah, with what little brain power you have, David.
Oh my
What do you think? Riz, what are the odds that this Kyurem Black has the correct resist berry, and which one would it be? If this Kyurem decides to stay in and click Ice Beam.
I feel like if it's I feel like even if he has the resist berry, he switches out and just sacks Clef here. I think that would be my play.
Yeah,
I think
sacking
regardless, I
Clef
think
is
that's
definitely
the play.
But if Riz did
Because
have
I
the
think
resist,
it's a berry.
go ahead.
So like if it's a berry, you save face, you don't have to make some sort of 50-50 prediction
Yeah.
on which berry it is, and like you just get to safely bring in like the arrow. Or you just go
Yeah.
into your Aerodactyl predicting the Moonblast and taking it like a fucking champ.
Why is Riz saving
very-
with Fable?
Why is he saving the Clef?
Yeah.
He could be saving it as a sort of lore for Celesteela? Maybe, I don't know what else
No,
it could
it does
be used
not
for.
take a hit from Celesteela at that range. It
It-
might
yeah,
might
the
outspeed.
only
It could,
thing
out,
that this
it could
Fable
outspeed a
is
defensive one.
Yeah.
I'm just curious why he made that play. Like I don't know what other reason he would have to save the Clef, unless he thinks he can get rocks on something, which I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because this Mega Aerodactyl still cannot Oko Mega Diancie. Probably even with that in its-
Aquatail might be able to.
Bar Aquatail. Gypsy's water resist is Gothitelle? Celesteela?
It'd be Steela, but if Gypsy goes Steela here, I don't know. That seems pretty bad for him, especially with Riz having. See, Blaziken gets it doesn't get Mach Punch, but it gets Vacuum Wave, I believe. So
Yeah.
Riz potentially has double priority in the back. So if it's a autonomized Celesteela like we're kind of potentially expecting, I don't think Gypsy can go into that on the Aerodactyl because it would take 2 hits and basically become not a win con.
But he can
And
go into
he
lands.
does go into it as he takes
That's
the
offensive.
Aquatail not well
That's-
at all.
That looks
Oh.
offensive or Spadef,
Yeah, that's definitely offensive. I don't.
but it's
That's not a ton of
leftovers,
HP
though.
investment.
Hmm.
I don't know. Unless arrows hitting a lot harder than I thought it would.
Like I
I've
said,
been
this is
wrong
probably
before in
happening.
this match.
Mega Aerodactyl, or no, this is Jolly Mega Arrow. So this looks to be like offensive Celesteela of some type. That's just my gut telling me. And
Aquatail doing 37 means it does have some HP investment, but not max. Definitely not max.
not at all.
Could be some mix. It's definitely a bulky Celesteela, but it's how much investment would it need to outspeed Arrow? Probably not much.
Not a whole
I guess-
lot. I would.
What would it try to creep then? Scarf Blaziken? Scarf Kyurem? Can it creep Scarf Kyurem?
Creeping. Yeah, it can hit Scarf Kieran Black for sure. I was about to say, creeping
Yeah,
max speed Mega Arrow covers Scarf Blaziken. It definitely.
I mean, it would have to be timid if it wants to creep, or like a plus speed nature if it wants to even creep Mega Arrow, let alone Kyurem Black.
Yeah, it's no. That's why I don't think this thing has a ton of bulk. Don't even. I think if anything, it's just max HP with.
Arctic Weavile saying
defensive
max Belly at +2 outspeeds Scarf Kyurem. Aster's saying that's a roll from Adamant Arrow, but Greg's saying that he believes it's Jolly on max HP.
It's if you go back to the last time Mega Aerodactyl came in and clicked Stone Edge, I think it was versus Hydreigon. It didn't do enough to be adamant.
So
It didn't do
if
enough.
we're under the assumption that's Jolly, then it has to be a very offensive Steela,
Yeah, you're correct.
which would make sense.
And Riz's position, doesn't he have to attack here if this is potentially autotomized?
Absolutely.
He can just lose.
I
yeah?
think so.
He has to attack.
The problem is Stone Edge doesn't kill.
That's fine, though, because he has a Breloom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're back to this Diancie thing. Diancie becomes really annoying, and then the Goth becomes annoying because Arrow outspeeds Scarf Goth. None of the other things do, aside from maybe Kyurem.
Not only that, if the
What?
if the Steela comes in, goes for the autotomized, the Breloom comes in to be the Revenger, then the Gothitelle can just trap the Breloom, and that's
Goth
actually
traps
not
it.
necessary. Yeah. And then doesn't
And
he
then it's
Gypsy
just
leave
kinda
himself
awkward
I mean,
from there.
excuse me. Yeah, Riz leaves himself pretty open to like Rock Polish Lando T at that point. Depending if he's Continental Crush, what else Gypsy can do to kill Kyurem Black from full health if he doesn't have
Z superpower? Z Iron Tail?
the super. That would be a POW.
That would be a foul. No, but it would probably be Iron Tail, like Jolt was saying at the pregame.
No, yeah, 100%. You're correct. I totally forgot about Iron Tail. Totally forgot Landers ran Iron Tail. Not a move you see too often.
No, definitely not.
But with the steel weak team like Riz, and we saw Trev take advantage of the type weaknesses that all of his mons share, especially on such a fast offensive breaker, like Autotomized Celesteela or Rock Polish Lando T. That could be a really decent coverage option for sure. And it'd be definitely cute as well. I know you have fans who love cute Pokemon, and Landers, he is very cute
Yeah.
on the Landers.
It's like a giant cat, but it's like fluffy.
The clouds, because it's a flying type.
It's a bird.
I love birds.
Love birds. So yeah, this is an interesting turn that Riz pretty much has to bank on Stone Edge hitting. I'd assume, unless he has some.
Thunderfang would make a lot of sense for the Suicune as well, which would be Aster's saying
Thunderfang.
stronger than Stone Edge here, which I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Yeah, it would do. It still wouldn't kill, but yes. But yeah, it does do a considerable
More accurate
amount
is
more.
the important thing.
Sure, and you do get that very clutch flinch chance as well as the para,
You bet.
and
Yeah,
we play to win here. So
Yeah, I don't
Well,
actually. I think even if Gypsy like lets this Celesteela take that big damage, losing Mega Aerodactyl for Riz is really beneficial to Gypsy, I would say.
Oh,
Considering
absolutely.
how it just destroys everything else. Oh, he
So
does
here
preserve the
comes
Mega Aerodactyl.
Kieran,
Oh boy.
there goes the Autonomize. So what happens? Is this a Babiri?
That is
Yeah,
possible.
but Kirim eats.
Is it suddenly?
100%.
Is it not Chardy, not Roselli, but actually?
I mean,
Babiri?
yeah, like Greg was saying, that this thing can definitely
Like, even
take
at
a hit.
Oh, it does live,
even if it's
doesn't it?
heavy, even if it's heavy slam, that's not doing a whole lot. I think
Right.
it does like maybe 50, 65. I'm not calculating.
The reasoning behind Riz's play then is he realizes how important Mega Aerodactyl is late game, and he wants to keep that around. And by just going into Kirim here, he's oh my
Ooh,
god, oh
cute.
god,
That is
and
a Z-move Kirim. That was
wow.
ooh, that was not a POW.
you know, I saw leftovers and I was like, maybe it's Protect, but Autonomize makes more sense, and now I see it's both. So cool.
Automize. You go back to what we said, like earlier.
Because,
Joel
like,
mentioned
leftovers-
it. Dual fighting-
Leftovers Protect would help it deal with like Breloom Mach Punches and Vacuum Waves, because it could just protect itself out of range after setting up. I think that's really cute.
So
And
because
it obviously
Riz went for Sub-Zero Slammer, does that mean he might not have Fusion Bolt? Surely he has Fusion Bolt. There's a Suicune.
I'd assume so. Yeah, you
but-
would want something to break the Suicune. So if he's Sub-Zero Slammer,
I guess
and
he was
that
just
doesn't
going
look
for the
like
kill,
freeze shock.
yeah.
That's definitely not freeze shock damage.
Well, I
That did
mean, 24% behind a Protect is still a lot of damage.
it is, but that's also a Kirim. I don't think that's freeze shock damage. It could be like. I
don't
it's
believe
also
that. It's a
really
whole
low
bunch of
for
HP.
Ice Beam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also not a defensive Selly.
Yeah.
I could see that being like Blizzard or Ice. Probably more than Ice Beam. I don't know. Let me check. So, actually, it could just be Ice Beam if it's a no each. No, it can't be. Because a quarter of 80. 24 is too low. Or it would be a high roll if that was. If it's Z Ice Beam. To a no HP Selly. And it's at least slightly bulk invested.
Now that I know this thing is
Hello-
Sea Crystal, though,
Hello,
I don't think there's
No,
anything
I'm,
wrong.
I'm well
with just
aware. That's yeah.
in the Twitch chat.
No, he DM'd me a Jolly Kirim Black Sub-Zero Slammer to a max HP Celestial, which we're fairly sure it wasn't max HP.
Can we talk about how that Heavy Slam did 33%?
Yeah,
No, I
that did a very not a lot.
Remember that it was gonna do like 55, and it did a lot less than that.
33%.
Look,
Kirim Black is fat, but
Kirim Black is definitely
wow.
It's a very bulky boy.
Suddenly,
Now-
Gypsy's position
now
is very
keeping-
tough.
Oh, you also have to take into account that Autonomize cuts your weight.
Oh, it does.
By the way, so you cut a lot of your damage by clicking Autonomize.
well, normally it doesn't
You're
make
basically a
it's not-
-1. Yeah, it's not a factor for most mons, but Kirin Black is really fat.
See,
Yeah, exactly.
Aster's making the comment that I made in the Season 4 Championship. If Breloom is sashed, it kind of wins. Don't say that. That requires hitting bullet seeds.
No,
Yeah. Actually, so I take back what I
Well,
said. If
don't worry,
Kirim
the
Black,
chat will. If it comes down to bullet seed, we'll
Oh
have
my
the
God.
chat count it out.
Yes. Guys, if it comes down to bullet seed, oh my god. I might have to leave, to be
Well,
honest.
if it comes down
PTSD
to
is
a
too
bullet
strong.
if it comes down to a bullet seed, we'll ask the chat to spam 2 in the chat.
everybody get your twos ready. Gypsy Riz is going to come.
Oh, rock
that is a
polish
rock
Diancie.
polish. That's a rock polish. And now all of a sudden, oh my god, the king.
Now it's interesting.
Okay. So
Now we
Oh,
got a
wow.
game again.
Wait,
this is
doesn't this win?
Silver Smasher, you're a little early.
if he's not Sash Braylon, this is over. I think.
Yeah, probably.
I'm surprised he saved the Kirim.
The
yeah.
I guess he felt like
because-
he needed it for Gothitelle.
No, then why do you
Team
save
move,
the
what are you
arrow?
doing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't.
that's what I was confused because
Like,
if he kills
I don't
the
get. I don't get saving the Kirim. That plays kind of weird. I guess he was. I don't know. That's really interesting.
All he really needed to
I don't
do is
like-
get this thing into range of Breloom.
Yeah, all he had to do was not let the Diancie potentially set up or like sub up.
Yeah. That took the wind out of me. I didn't really think.
Yeah, like suddenly this is interesting. Like
Yeah, that was a lot
Riz
of
was in
position.
such a commanding position with that, and now it really comes down to how much damage Blaziken and Breloom can deal to this.
Yeah, if they're even with double prior, well, we have to think. We've seen Rock Polish, Power Gem, Moonblast. So clearly the last move is what? Earth Power? But Earth Power versus Riz,
Earth
that
Power
covers Drill.
Attack-
So
Earth Power
Power
does
is
cover
the
drill.
move
Can
to
this
play.
take a Moonblast?
Can this take? It's a neutral hit.
Are we talking
and-
about like potentially like a Shuka Berry Blaziken?
Maybe.
I'm
I guess this could
calculating right
easily
now.
be Earth Power as well, huh?
I mean, it lives
because
a Moonblast
Blaziken-
from an uninvested Blaziken lives a timid Moonblast from full, but it's not at full. It does 80 to 95 to 0-0 Blaziken. So assuming it has some bulk, I don't feel like calcing the Hydreigon damage, but assuming it has a chance to live a Moonblast.
Here's the thing. What is Riz's
What's up?
response to Mega Diancie? If you look across his team, what was his response? He
What
has to
was
have
his
something-
response?
In general?
Yeah, what was his response? Because Gengar
Pressuring
was
it.
modest.
But
Breloom doesn't
Gengar.
Oko it if
well,
it is, unless it's
we don't know if
sashed.
Gengar was modest. We don't
Well,
know if Gengar
I
was
guess
modest.
we don't, but I am going to assume. Regardless, it's either timid or modest, and speed ties at best. So, Kyurem isn't really a safe check to it, because obviously it has to
Sure.
play the mind game.
Right.
Clefable
Arrow
was not
outspeed-
invested in fact.
Clefable is not. Yeah.
Was he really only
So-
leaning on Breloom and Arrow? Okay, I guess
oh,
he
that's
was.
killed. Oh, this is
Yeah.
not
So
looking
he's just
good.
leaning on Breloom. All right, boys and girls.
Second chance.
All right, guys, get your twos ready. If this
Get
is
your
Sash
Get your
Breloom,
twos ready.
focus.
We're gonna
Sash
need a lot of
Breloom.
twos. We're gonna need a lot of twos.
This one only needs
They
two,
are.
though, I think.
All right, guys,
I
if
think
this
two
is
is enough.
Sash Breloom,
2. All right,
From
we
a-
see Bert.
oh
2
god,
kills,
Diancie,
sure, but like,
Mega.
don't be a
Bloom.
killjoy, Crispy Panda. We know 2 kills, but spam 2 anyway.
Oh, 2 does kill, man. That's
Seed
fucking
bomb,
insane.
though.
Seed bomb though? Nobody runs seed bomb. That's bad.
Well, maybe they saw Jolt's game and decided maybe Seed bomb is better.
In finals, never run bullet seed, folks.
Yeah, but happens if this is not a focus Sash Breloom. This might just
What
be
happens?
the end.
Well, Gypsy
It's-
gets his
it's
third
over.
ring. That's what happens.
Yep.
Mach punch.
There
That's
it is.
not a bullet seed.
Oh, it's all
and that's
its
not
life force.
Sash.
Oh, it's over.
Oh.
It's a crit. Yeah, that crit really didn't matter. Let's be honest.
I'm glad you got excited. I'm glad you got excited for the crit that didn't matter.
I mean, it's a crit, man. Leave me alone.
It's a crit.
How many guys? This was not what I anticipated. What do you think? Yeah, like this just dies. I'm pretty sure
Riz just let his guard down and
for
And
one
gave-
turn.
Yeah.
gave the Diancie a free turn.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna sting Riz for a long time. I feel. He had a feeling turn 17. GG almost stayed in with KB in case it was rock polish, but if you attacked, I probably lost to Landorus. Because if it's
Yeah, I
another
can
rock
see that.
polish set,
If it's triple
though,
rock
'cause
polish,
we saw Autotomize on the Celesteela and Scarf Hydreigon. Was it really like that though?
would it
Well,
be
that's what Riz-
rock
that
polish
was
Lando?
Riz's-
Who knows?
Yeah, triple rock. We'll see the team builder. And
We'll have to see the team builder, and yeah,
and the Kieran Black live a hit that is guaranteed to do 100%.
can it live? Oh, unfortunately, it did
Unfortunate.
not. What a shock!
Gypsy King won the battle. GG Riz E.
GG. Congrats to Riz on a very good season. Of course, congrats to Gypsy, our 3-time champion. Has anyone ever seen someone win the same league 3 times in a row? Has that happened in recent history?
I have. I've seen
At least
I've
the
seen
big
Gypsy
ones?
King win
No.
the National Pokemon League.
Oh, well, have you?
Yes, I have. I just saw it happen. And man, I will tell you that this game just goes to show you that you just don't give up. Like, I know we were talking about, oh, Gypsy won his 3rd title, but can we just calm Gypsy stayed throughout this whole thing?
Yeah.
And you see what he said. He said, GG, I had a strong feeling you'd preserve likely Speedy, Kieran Black for Lando. He made the rock polish play, anticipating Riz to make the less optimal play. And it was kind of just how Gypsy's been playing his whole season. He gets in the opponent's head, really has such a really strong command over the game flow, and he got that call right. And that one turn really, well, Riz's team was also super offensive. Rock polish. I know I mentioned rock polish Lando, rock polish Kieran Black. I taught him myself Steela, but Mega Diancie did the same thing all of those things did with those 3 coverage moves, and we saw the result right now.
Yeah. No, Gypsy really brought a solid team here with the Autotomite Steela, then the Rock Polish Mega Diancie. Does anyone know, maybe even the chat, anyone who works with Gypsy, does anyone know if the Lando T was Rock Polish as well? Because if that was Rock Polish, I think Riz still made a fine play.
Bird, tell me.
I still can't hear Bird on stream, but if he knows, let us know.
Yeah, the flying bird. Let us know. God bless Bird.
Okay. Yeah, in the chat they're saying it wasn't Rock Polish, so actually, yeah. If Riz had just stayed in with the Kieran Black and gotten the damage off on the Diancie, which I would assume would put it below half into range of Braylon's Mach Punch, then Riz was definitely in a solid position.
Yeah.
The issue being, of course, if Gypsy had gone for the Moonblast as well, then the Gothitelle, which was held in the back, we really don't know what set that was, but the Gothitelle could potentially have done a lot of work against Riz, since Riz didn't bring any Psychic Resist. If that was just a Scarf Gothitelle, that could have potentially cleaned up Braylon plus Blaziken and a weakened Clefable. I think that was all that was left at that point, right, besides the Aerodactyl. So, yeah, that's tough. But let's see, they're asking for us to put them both in call. We could try. Let me see what I can do.
At the very least, get one of them.
Yeah. Well,
where's Riz?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Let's get Gypsy first. We can do like an interview.
All right, guys. I'll be looking in the Twitch chat if you have a question potentially for the king himself or even Rizzy Powell. But go ahead and type them in at Gregulator60 so I can see your question if you have any.
Oh, Zazo posted the set. Cool.
Yeah, Zazo has both of the sets. Both teams, exactly.
I don't know if Gypsy is checking Discord, but I said to join the call. So hang on. We're going to try to get your champion in here.
Yes.
Oh, it was Modesty Belt. That's cute.
Oh boy. This looks hot. Ask Gypsy how it feels to end another career, okay? Oh wait. Oh my god, did that just... I'm sorry, I got tagged and I just looked at it.
You just read it out loud, casually.
I just read it. I just casually read it out loud. Oh my god.
Classic Gypsy. Wins the finals against somebody and then that person just quits Mons. Classic.
One thing's for sure,
even
though.
Cheese Boy, even Cheese Boy took a season off.
He did. No, what I was gonna say though, one thing's for sure, Riz really bounced back well from the 0-8 start, a few seasons ago, like getting all the way to the finals this season of the NPL. Don't sleep on Rizzy Pow. He's good. Don't make him a meme.
Yeah, I think
he's actually good.
Yeah, I think if you take away all of the shit posts and all the memes surrounding Rizzy Pow, like he specifically went into this game with a very strong team, and he almost pulled it off. I really think that one turn just cost him a whole lot.
Yeah,
now.
for sure.
And
Yeah,
our
hats off
champion
to
is here.
Rizzy.
Oh, well, hello, everybody in
Oh.
the Twitch chat. If you're still here, I'd like to welcome your 3-time reigning NPL champion, Gypsy King. How are you today, my good friend?
I'm very well, thank you, Greg. Yeah, very well, man. Yeah, I just want to give before I, thank everyone who's all my friends. I just want to say, yeah, congrats to Riz on a crazy finals match. Obviously, like he played really well and really forced me in a situation where I had to kind of get into his head. And I'd like to say, like when he preserved the clef earlier on in the game, that really sort of made me realize he was preserving it as a late game sack. For that sort of situation with DNC. So I took that opportunity once I saw it match up that his team was really, really weak to RP DNC. Like once Gengar went down, once I identified potential scarfers, and luckily Riloom was not sashed, DNC just looked to win in. So I just had to kind of find the right time to set up.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really important turn. A lot of us were talking about, why was he letting his Pokemon take his damage? I know the Mega Aerodactyl was his switch into Mega Diancie. That's probably where you came to that determination. Like he's saving this for a late game sack, and it seemed that your mons kept dropping one right after the other. What made you think that he would just go in? I guess you just answered that for me. I don't know. How do you do it?
Oh,
Well,
Riz is asking how he gets into this call, by the way.
We'll get
oh,
Riz
he's
here
not
in a
in
sec.
beanbags.
We'll get Riz here in a
Yeah,
sec.
okay.
Yeah, we'll get Riz in here.
Well, yeah, basically, typically in the past, like I've run kind of fatter teams, so like more like bulkier teams. You've seen that in both playoff games. This game though, like just due to the offensive nature of Riz's team, I opted to run a more offensive team disguised as a more balanced team. So you saw like the Coon, you saw the lefties, defensive/offensive Selly, all of which are kind of designed to help Diancie sweep or Cell Stealer. So although it looked like a really defensive team, at matchup, it was very offensive. Lando was like Steelium Z, Iron Tail, just all aimed at like being potential win cons. Goth was a Scarf set as well that could grab Clef, Breakdown, Revenge, stuff like Blaziken and Breloom. So yeah, Riz has just like performed so well this season with offense that I couldn't really bring a bulky squad to kind of take on that because QMB has no answers. Certainly not my team. So.
Yeah, there was a while there in the
definitely
middle
not.
of the game where you were stuck between a rock and a hard place where the Kiram was in versus what was it, the
Lando.
Yeah, versus the Lando. We were just sitting here for like 10 minutes. It felt like we're like, what are you gonna sack, man?
Well, yeah, basically I was just like weighing up my options because I needed to preserve Health on Lando because at 100% I live in Adamant Ice Fang from Arrow, and I can always blow that away with Z Iron Tail if I need to. I can bluff RP on that, and Hydreigon was just revenged by Vacuum Wave and Mark Punch, so it wasn't as like it did its job. It lured in Clef, got a big hit off, kind of put it out of commission, and something had to die to cure him. So. Yeah.
So
and as you
Harris-
see, like I could have gone hard DNC, but then I wouldn't have been able to sweep as well late game because I would have taken an Ice Beam, would have put me in Mark Punch range. So that's why I didn't go make that offensive switch that turn. But unfortunately, Hydra had to go down.
So Harris is asking in the chat, how many kills did Mega Diancie get for you this season?
Honestly, like I can check right now, but it didn't get that many to be honest. I really
know off
enjoyed
the
using
top of my
DNC.
head.
Well,
you-
it just got 6.
It got six. Hey, Gypsy, would you be surprised to hear you went 5-4 with Mega Diancie this season, in the regular season at least?
Right.
I felt like you ran a lot of really cool sets with Mega Diancie. It did a lot more than the stat sheet showed for sure. Why don't you go ahead and like talk about Mega Diancie and how you've essentially used it this season?
Sure. Yep. So
Sets and stuff.
I think bar like the games where Celestial had sweeps, most of my team worked as a really cohesive unit, and that's what I really like. That's what I really like about Landorus. This team was probably the team I've sort of enjoyed most using throughout my whole time in draft. So I just felt like, yeah, like obviously there were flaws. Didn't have an electric, didn't have a fire, didn't have like a very good Kyurem response. But this team as a whole worked really well. Like a lot of team players, DNC fulfilled that team player role in a couple of games, like you mentioned. But yeah, this game it was just all out offense. Like in a couple of games, I brought really bulky sets, like versus Mono and versus Rob in semis, but in the playoffs. But yeah, Diancie, honestly, like people kind of hate on it, but I think it is an incredible mon. I think it just requires more support than some people may realize. Like I was lucky enough to have Celestial and Hydra with it, which partnered really nicely with it. Also Coon as well to switch into those water hits. So like, it had the right partners on the kind of just it was more effective because of it. But it wasn't the star of the show. I think Celestial and Landorus and Coon were probably a bit more like impactful. But yeah, as you mentioned, Diancie did a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's actually, we were kind of, I think, joking about it earlier in the show about, or I guess the stream, not show, about Riz's Mega Aerodactyl just literally running through your team. It's such an offensive breaker it is. I think he had the right coverage options for that. But in reverse, and like kind of like in the irony, Mega Diancie as a rock ball set really broke apart the offensive nature of Riz's team. Now, I guess I want to ask, in the team building process, why what were you necessarily looking for in your sweepers? Because at first glance, like we were talking, Diancie, like it's revenged by like combination of vacuum wave plus Mach Punch if it's not too bulky, you're requiring it to take a lot of hits. So maybe give us a little bit of thought process when building an anti-offensive team like for Riz. If you could just give us a couple of your thoughts on
Sure.
that, it'd be appreciated.
Yep. Yeah, no worries. So, yeah, basically with a team like Riz's, like I mentioned earlier, it's super offensive. It's very threatening to mine. So I think one of you guys mentioned this sort of pre-game. Controlling speed tiers in this kind of matchup is critical. So you saw I had like the Rock Polish and Diancie as well as the Autonomized and Seal Stealer. Obviously, Selly was kind of weak versus the Kyurem because that was a fat Kyurem. Like I was lightened, but having that sort of speed control versus such an offensive team, once I've got the necessary chip, can really be very effective, and that's kind of what I was going for in this matchup. I had the likes of Goth to trap sort of any roadblocks in the way of my speed boosters, so stuff like Clef, Breloom if it was a nuisance. If it was like set up, I could always take that out with Goth and then come in and rock polish up with Diancie. But yeah, versus Riz team, you'd have to go Trick Room or you'd have to go like rock polish, just beat his potential nasty scarfers. He doesn't have the greatest like agility / rock polish options on his team. He's got stuff like Blaziken, which is good, but it takes a turn to set up and it doesn't set up too easily versus mine. So I was sort of using that to my advantage, and also thinking Riz might assume I'd opt for a more defensive build for this game.
Yeah, that's actually really enlightening. I think maybe potentially, what do you think Riz could have done as far as his team approach? What did you think about Riz's team? Actually, let's talk about that. I don't think we got.
Yeah, I thought Riz brought a. Well, I thought Riz brought a really it was really interesting. Like I think he built really really well. I wasn't like Blaziken and Gengar, and as well as Breloom were two mons that I kind of like. I was aware that they could come, but I wasn't 100% sure. I really felt like Gren was going to come because setting up T-Spikes versus my team if I don't bring Coolfish looks quite nice on paper, although I did have ways of checking that. I thought Mesprit might come as like a bulky rocker with Ice Beam. Even Lantern as a means of checking Autonomized Special Cell Stealer, which does a lot of work versus Riz's team, but he did bring that dual fighting core, so if he wasn't expecting Goth to come, that would have been really effective. And it also, if I'd brought like a really fat team with Tangrowth to check Gren, Blaziken would have just had a field day versus that. And also really nice to the Piloswine as well, if I had brought that, as well as the Persian. I brought Persian to my two playoff games, and it's been like really clutch, so maybe he was sort of expecting that to come. I'll have to hear his take on that, but yeah, I thought he brought like a very offensive team. If he'd brought like a bit of a bulkier team, maybe he would have had a harder time dealing with Goth, because Goth traps stuff like Mesprit and Clef and just tricks in the scarf. So yeah, I think he really did choose a good team to bring, and he played it really well.
That just explains a lot. Okay, hold on a second. The chat is asking for Riz. Jolt, do you have any updates for us?
I have
in progress.
Yeah, it's in progress. I gave him the link to the server where we're calling, and he hasn't joined the server yet. So we're doing our best. We'll see if it works out here.
Yeah, we are. And guys, Riz did just take and that was a fun game to watch. I think watching the commentary is going to be a little bit better than watching the stream, not going to lie, just because, there's less time spent in between turns. But you guys really did a great job making some really nice plays offensively, both of you. I just want to, tip my hat off. This is actually the one time I'm not wearing a hat. I don't know. You guys don't know. I usually wear a hat when I'm recording. So, yeah, I'll tip it to you guys. But, you know, a lot of these aggressive plays, like switching in your Hydreigon on the Mega Aerodactyl. I think you did that at one point, choosing to take a lot of damage. I know Riz sent in the Yancy, so a lot of you guys just making really, I think I want to call them aggressive, but they were really calculated. I think you guys were able to assess the situation at hand and, you know, make offensive switch-ins that would gain momentum that wouldn't cost a whole lot, maybe if you got a turn wrong or so.
Yeah,
definitely a lot
Riz
harder
made some
to-
great mid-ground plays as well, like edging with Aero, like the first time it was out, instead of clicking Aqua Tail or like Ice Fang or something. So yeah, I think he made a lot of calculated, aggressive plays that really worked out for him.
We do have a Riz here now.
And also, if I did click Stone right there, I would have lost Aerodactyl, but at least I put Danzy in a Mach Punch range.
Exactly. Yeah.
Guys, we do, if you guys don't recognize that voice, that is the POW himself. Everyone in the Twitch chat, go ahead and say hello to Riz. Riz, I do want to say congratulations on a really stellar run. I think a lot of people didn't expect it out of you, you know, just because of the meme nature associated with your name. But I think you proved a lot of people wrong this season. And that performance, man, I, once again, tip my hat off to you because that was incredible to witness live. So any like initial thoughts, you know, that you're in the call, you've got people listening, what's on your mind?
I'm pretty happy overall. Like, I've like not been into Pokemon for the last like 2-3 weeks, so I'm just kind of happy. I'm also done with this game. I'm not too stressed about it anymore. Yeah, that was a really fun game. I felt I played pretty well. Only thing, like that 150-50 really, like I was really close to staying in right there. I wasn't like really close. It was like, I'm not sure. It was.
I think I definitely like this is my mentality during the game. Like I definitely understood why you preserved Q. Were you scarfed Kyurem, or were you just like
No, I
timid?
was.
Z move.
I was in.
Yeah. Were you like max
I
speed or
noticed
something?
the damage on that silly.
were you really fast Kyurem, like creeping Lando?
Yeah, I was timid, or I was naive.
Yeah. So like,
That's why I needed to outspeed Lando.
if
Yeah,
I was a rock polish like Z-move variant, like, you know, or like just like an SD or something, like, or even like a bulk, like preserving your fast Kyurem made a lot of sense. You know, not because if I got the intimidate off of an arrow like late game and you missed like Stone Edge or Aqua Tail or something like that, having Kyurem in the back could have been really clutch to just take out the Lando. So, and like you didn't really have a reason to keep the clef around. I felt anyway at that point in the game.
Yeah.
Like I would have made the same play as you.
Yeah. I almost did bring Gren though. Like when you were saying, I just like just a 6 that I brought, like it just didn't fit. Well, I had on a couple of teams and I ended up taking off it just like Spadef, Selly plus Coon, just like made it hard. And I could have gone T-Spikes up, but I felt there was a really good chance Qwilfish would come. And like even so, you have like Hydra, you have Hydra, Selly, Lando as your main, like, you know, those 3 mons off the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's true. And like I did initially face some T-Spikes and some mocks that I had, and that really like kind of forced my hand to run Rest Talk on Coon, which.
Oh, you were Rest Talk Coon.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was Rest Talk with Toxic, just like stuff like Kyurem coming in for free and not getting Toxic and subbing up was a problem.
Yeah.
So.
Were you Skull as your only attack, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That was pretty cool. One fun set that I really liked was that Breloom set. It was like SD Adamant Life Orb, and Superpower killed Max Defense Tangrowth without the rocks.
That isn't. Yeah, that's insane. Breloom was such a threat. Like that was like another factor in why I had to bring this Goth, because Breloom just had a field day.
Yeah, Scarf Goth, like versus the team I brought, it was like it kind of destroyed me. I knew I knew it could come, but I wasn't. I don't know. The team that I had was really weak to Scarf Goth. I knew that.
I think that's just the goth factor. Like it's a real pain to prep against because if you bring like a team like this, like if you bring like a fatter team, it just has a field day, and if you bring like slower, like weak to psychic offensive threats, then they get revenged. That's just like
even for like an offensive team, it traps in like threats like Breloom, Blaziken, Gengar, and just kill them with a scarf.
yeah. I mean, Gengar would have been safe, but the other ones would have been revenge, and that was
Yeah.
no. I think he brought a really solid team.
Thanks. Thank you. But yeah, that was pretty fun.
Oh, Riz, there's a question for you from the chat. What was going through your head when you revealed Rock Polish on Mega Diancie?
I mean, I just thought I lost.
I feel like you were correct in that assessment.
Yeah. I mean, like, I knew that he could have clicked it. It was just like, you know, I said like before what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Didn't want to lose, so it was hard. It was like a 50-50 in my head.
There's another question here asking about your lantern set, your apparent agility lantern. You want to talk about that?
Wait, who asked that?
Adam.
Oh my god. So, okay, I was never bringing agility lantern. So whenever like somebody would, dude, I had like 6 people DM me agility lantern destroys Gypsy. Which like, okay, like on paper it looks good, but lantern is just so piss weak. It's pretty
Yeah.
It's not a Quiver Dance Rotom Wash.
Yeah, I had a Specs lantern on one of my teams. That'd have been like cool to come in on Sally and then like get a volt switch off. But yeah,
I have a question. Do you want to talk about your favorite Excadrill set you were showing off?
Oh my god! So this was a really dumb set, but I was thinking. So I was worried about hazards when I was building for Gypsy because Drill's matchup was awful, and it was like my main spinner, and I had. I have Aerodactyl Defog, but like it's not that reliable, and I wanted to be like offensive. I don't want to waste time clicking Defog. So the drill set I was thinking of bringing was just like, okay, so the purpose, it was so bad. The purpose of it would to spin and get up rocks, and it's like, it would be to spin and get up rocks, and I can't do anything to Celesteela. So I was looking through his moveset, and I saw Secret Power. If you know what Secret Power is, it's Body Slam. So at least I get a chance to paralyze the Celesteela. So
he legitimately PM'd me asking if this was a set he could bring.
He came to us with this set in hand, and my only response was, well, you have Secret Power, Rapid Spin, Rocks, and Magnet Rise. You might as well put a Silk Scarf to make your Secret Power hit harder.
Yeah.
It's nice to get a laugh like that. I know that
it wasn't Riz's proudest moment.
It was a thought. It was. I could have just paralyzed everything. Yeah. Great.
All right. So another question from the chat for both of you guys, actually, Gypsy and Riz. How do you keep your nerves down in big games like this?
You go first.
Me. So, okay. Usually I'd be like super nervous, but like I kind of went into this game with a bit like I didn't have as much time to build as I wanted to. I just haven't had as much time in general. I've been like a bit demotivated out of Mon, so I wasn't nervous at all for this game. Although usually I'd be really nervous. Like against Trev when I faced him in round 1, I was super nervous for that game. But I don't know. I wasn't that nervous for this game. Usually I would be though.
But in general, how do you cope?
Dude, I don't know. I hate that feeling when you're like super nervous in the game. It's just, I don't know. I guess just remember your game plan and like, yeah. I make a lot of mistakes. Like I don't I don't think I deal with like nerves that well because if you've seen like a lot of my games the regular season, out of the 4 losses, I think 3 out of the 4 losses I choked at the end, and I have a feeling that like that was partly due to nerves. I think that like I wasn't able to think properly, so I honestly don't cope well with nerves. So maybe it was good I wasn't nervous this game. Probably actually was. I would probably play better because of that.
What about you, Gypsy?
Well, typically before a big game, like I just like I don't know. I just kind of go for a walk and just think about the match. Think about like like Riz said, like the plan. Just try and clear, like empty my head a bit, and then like I just listen to the same music like every time I play, and that just kind of puts me in the zone in a sense, and I just like I execute. Except for when I played versus Maddie, and I didn't rock polish with the anti. I didn't rock polish with the anti. But yeah, most of the time, that's just how I remain calm. But of course, in games like this, like it's only natural to get kind of nervous or hyped up. But I don't know. Today I was just pretty excited. Like I felt really confident with the team, and I was excited to play Riz because I haven't played Riz in a long time. So, and I know he's really got like this season's Riz is how good he is. Not this season's past. Like I mean, I think everyone knew that. Like everyone knew Riz was capable of, really good things in the NPL. But I don't know, something just holding him back the last couple of seasons. But this season, he killed it. So I was excited to face him in that form.
Yeah, and what's also funny is that my first ever NPL game was against Gypsy, and my last ever NPL game will probably be against Gypsy as well. So that's kind of
damn. That's poetic.
Yeah, man. Poetry.
I'm gonna be tugging on your shoulder, begging you to come back, right?
I don't want to come back.
There's some time.
I don't wanna.
I have time, Riz. Don't worry.
Huh?
I got Maddie to come back. I can get you to come back too.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
That's what they all say.
All right, but I think we can probably wrap this one up. Once again, congrats to both you guys. Heck of a game for sure, and also heck of a seasons you guys had. Definitely better than mine. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. So thanks for coming out to the stream, guys. I know a lot of you have already dipped out by now, but this will also be uploaded if you happen to miss any of this throughout the course of this stream. So just keep an eye on that on the NPL channel. And I guess we are done here, unless my my co-team of streamers has any more words before we head out.
That final was simply fantastic,
Yeah, it was a really fun game.
and it was really nice to watch both of you play. And I hope you guys are have a really. You guys did great.
All right, guys, we will see you all next season in Season 8, which will be starting in Ultra Sun and Moon. So we got a little bit of a wait for that, although the game, I guess, comes out in less than a month, so that's kind of cool. But more details coming up shortly on that. I would give out more now, but we don't have more details right now, so sorry. But
What do you mean, Jolt? The draft's done.
Huh? What did I miss? All right, have a good one, guys.